Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Revenue and asks, what benefits did the Budget 2010 tax package deliver for New Zealanders and the economy?
Peter Dunn.
Mr Speaker, first and foremost, the budget tax package helps tilt the economy in favour of productive investment, savings and exports, and away from consumption, borrowing and unsustainable government spending. That is essential to create the jobs, the higher incomes and the opportunities to Kiwi families to get ahead here in New Zealand. Furthermore, the tax package rewards effort, it will help attract and retain skilled people in New Zealand, and it makes the tax system considerably fairer.
Amy Adams.
Supplementary to the Minister, how does the budget tax package make the tax system fairer?
Mr Speaker,
Peter Dunn.
Firstly, at all taxable levels, the income tax cuts more than offset the increase in GST. Let me give the House three very quick examples of how the package works. 2/3 of the income tax cuts go to reducing the bottom two marginal tax rates. That is, for annual income up to $14,000, reducing that rate from 12.5% to 10.5%, and for income up to $48,000, reducing that marginal rate from 21% to 17.5%. Second, the tax changes mean that 73% of New Zealand income earners will now have a top statutory rate of 17.5% or less. And third, it's worth noting that a working family with 2 children will now pay effectively no tax at all until they earn $50,000 a year, and those who earn below that level will actually be receiving a net payment under Working for Families.
Amy Adams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, how have tax changes over the past 15 years made the income tax system more progressive?
Mr Speaker, that's an interesting point. If you take together all the changes made since 1996, the group that's benefited most are those earning between $30,000 and $50,000 a year, broadly the gap between the current minimum wage and the average wage. People in this income band are now paying between 40% and 50% less tax than they were in 1996. In fact, people just below the average wage of about $48,000, who will now be paying 17.5%, are paying almost half of what they were paying 2 years ago. And so by comparison, people earning $100,000 a year are paying 20% less than they were in 1996.
Amy Adams.
Supplementary. Thank you, Mr Speaker. Which groups will bear most of the cost of the Budget 2010 tax changes?
Mr Speaker, the budget tax changes are obviously not a lolly scramble. Every dollar we've provided in income tax cuts has to be found from other revenue. And most of those extra costs will be borne by property owners, by large foreign companies with interest in New Zealand, by people who use trusts to reduce their taxable income and to gain access to Working for Families. At the same time, sir, we're also providing Inland Revenue with another $120 million over 4 years to increase tax compliance measures and police the existing rules, and that will raise an estimate of a further $750 million. It's all part of creating a fairer tax system for all New Zealanders.
Stuart Nash.
Thank you. How does he consider the tax package benefits New Zealanders fairly and sustainably, considering the top 5% of taxpayers receive 31% of the money, yet 76% of taxpayers earn less than $40,000?
Peter Dunn.
Mr Speaker, I think I answered that question very clearly early on. People earning $48,000 or below will now pay a top marginal rate of just 17.5 cents in the dollar. That's half what it was 2 years ago. They are the major beneficiaries of this package.
Question number 2, the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.